All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We've got Elazer playing the patch up against Showtime, and I can't wait to see what goes on. So this is yet another cast where people have been asking me, hey, can we get some series? Can we get some high-stakes matches? The answer is no. I have bribed players with money for show matches in the past, and they have played some of the worst New Balance PTR matches I've ever seen in my life. So what I'm doing instead is I'm saying, hey, I'm trying to get King of the Hills going. I'm trying to encourage players to play games. I couldn't get a King of the Hill today, but I've heard there's new balance changes that may be coming soon. The moment those drop onto the PTR, I will immediately run a King of the Hill with any players I can get, Masters, GMs, anyone else I can get, because I don't know what those changes will be, but I mean, there better be changes, because otherwise I'm going to riot. Obviously, you guys have heard my videos and thoughts on that. Point being, for now, these are just practice games. This is just dudes hopping in, playing a bunch of customs, and I'll keep track of the score, but we don't know if it's a best of. We don't know how many games there are. We're just going to cast as many games as they are. We don't know how long it'll be, so you guys don't have to at least know who's going to win or lose. We're just going to cast as many replays as they sent me from this practice session, and we'll see how it goes and study the patch at the same time. Pigs going to Riot? Yeah, I'm going to go cast League of Legends, my favorite game, guys. To be fair, played 2 games of League of Legends ever. Didn't like it, didn't really care for it. Not that into MOBAs these days. Takes too much time for me. Arcane, on the other hand, great TV show, guys. That's awesome. New season's coming out in November, right? In a few weeks, I think. So I'm excited for that. I never thought I'd care about a League of Legends TV show, but I got sick. What was it? Earlier this year. Had nothing to watch. Clicked on that on Netflix and was like, this is good. I was like, I don't know what a League of Legends is, but this is really good. Probe scouting around right now. Stargate's on the way as well. Adept's coming forward. Okay, we're doing double chrono here on Snowpiercer. Okay, this is going to be interesting. So Showtime's going for double Adept. Just like, hey, let's do a pressure opening, forcing Elazer to take a third. This third's very far spread. You've got kind of a narrowish choke point leading up into it, so defending up here with a concave would be really good. I can already imagine, though, where do you take your fourth? It's so far spread. So this is a map where this reminds me of, one of our recent maps. 2 or 3 seasons ago. I can't remember the map name, but it's got a similar sort of thing where, yeah, fighting for control over these bases and these middle areas is going to be quite hectic. I'm excited to see how this goes. 2 Lings do snake by. Great way to punish. Does get himself 1 probe kill so far, and there is an Oracle on the way. Showtime being kind of passive with his 2 Adepts at home, knowing that Elazer's going to play safe. Elazer's always going to build Zerglings to deal with this, but actually he's only got 2 there. The other ones haven't quite popped in the main just yet. And that's a lot of drone kills. Already 3 going down, as well as some Zerglings. If he can add another kill on the drones, that would be big. Can he get 1 more shot off? Nice Spore Trick in order to limit that. The Lings will take out the Adept. 3 drones and 5 Zerglings for 2 Adepts and a probe. Pretty even trading, all things considered. But if the Oracle can find some damage as well, that'll be excellent. Now, there is energy available to recharge the Oracle. But Showtime is prioritizing chronoing oracles instead. So he's not using the energy ability, and I think it's because for now, his oracle's just being used defensively. So he says, well, this is plenty of energy. If I have to turn on my beam, chase off the Zerglings, then I can go back, use the energy ability, and be completely safe. And I love that use of the energy recharge just to allow a 2 oracle opening to have pretty much unlimited energy. And you usually want to skip on the 3rd oracle, I think, when you're playing this style. But we'll see. It's Showtime. Nah, he's going to go classic 3 oracle style. Why the heck not? All right, guys, we've got a lot of drones building right now. 44 workers to 41 for Elazer. Puts back on gas very late here at 4 minutes 30. Now, notice his queen count's not very high. Remember, hatcheries are a bit cheaper at 275 minerals, but queens are more expensive at 175. So, you know, if you only build 4 queens like Elazer does, you end up okay, but you do lose a little bit of your air control. Spore crawlers, though, do crazy damage now. 20 damage a shot, down up from 15. Which means they used to 8-shot an oracle to kill, 11 shots to kill an oracle. Now they kill it in 8 shots. This is an absolutely bananas change. I personally am hoping it gets put down to 17 damage. So it's still 10 Spore Crawler shots, but it's still a significant increase when paired with a little bit of Queen damage. Now, Elazer staying so light on Queens is definitely uncharacteristic on this patch. He's on 57 workers. I mean, this is classic Elazer, right? Elazer is famous for playing some of the greediest StarCraft you've ever seen. He moves a second Spore Crawler down. Why did he have an extra Spore Crawler? I do not know. Oh man, these drones, I don't know where we're running drones away. I feel like they should have just fought at that point, but Elazer in a little bit of panic, a little bit discombobulated, not used to defending with so few queens. Units lost tab is in favor of Showtime, but remember, Elazer had such a big worker advantage, he might not care. He's also gone for an incredibly fast fourth base. So Elazer is playing a kind of like, let's take advantage of the cheaper hatcheries. Let's limit our expense on the nerfed queens. He's really leaning into the patch changes here, and that's what I love to see, because I've seen so many players I've watched just play exactly the same builds they did before. But Elazer's actually saying, hey, let's try and adapt to the changes. Let's rely on those spores a little more. You know, he's actually built 4 spore crawlers since they're buffed. So he's actually relying on spore crawlers to potentially zone out the edges. You know, maybe put a spore crawler on the edge here and one in the mineral line. Maybe put a spore crawler on the edge of the map and in the mineral line, or 2, or, you know, the main base has 2 spore crawlers. You could actually do that instead of being queen heavy, play a much more mobile style to lean into this spore change. This is very cool. Showtime playing Blink +1, 6 gases, fantastic worker count at 65. I mean, of course, Elazer's still ahead by a few. And +1 melee only now starting kind of late on that melee upgrade. Looks like Elazer, is his lair up? Yeah, he should be going Hydra Den any second now. 6 Overlords building, Elazer chucking a little bit of a dark there, finding himself blocked. But remember, you got to be careful of these spore crawlers. These oracles are already so damaged, which means their ability to dive mineral lines is severely diminished. So now they're going to be more scouting. They can maybe harass the edge gas workers, but they cannot dive in the spore crawler zone, which is kind of nice. Because if you think about it, like when you have an oracle, if they bother building a turret, dude, the respect you have to show to a missile turret has always been rather high because of its extra range and just DPS. I don't know what its DPS is compared to a turret. You guys can let me know. I have the feeling a turret has way more DPS than the previous spore crawler and probably still more DPS than this new one. I could be wrong on that. You guys let me know in the comments. Someone can do the mathy math. They can Google that, look at the Wikipedia, check the DPS, and maybe see. The Oracle itself is not nerfed, guys, but the Spore Crawler is buffed to make up for the Queens being more expensive. 5 Queens, 52 Zerglings. There's only 17 Stalkers on the map, but with Blink, Stasis Traps, and, of course, the ability to use those lasers, it's going to be hard for Elazer to find too much value. So Showtime just pressuring him there. 1-1 upgrades, Melee Carapace. Wow. And Hydra upgrades as well as Infestation Pit into Hive. Okay. Meanwhile, Storm, 2-1 upgrades for Showtime. So Showtime's playing 2-1. Double Forge, Blink Stalker into Storm Charge. Not a bad style, but I really wonder, how does it line up in terms of like Robo versus Lurker timings? Robo's just now gone down. Remember, there is a Hive Tech upgrade for Hydras called Dash, guys. Basically, if you ever have if you're like a player who likes the lore, you really like, you know, your units kind of having all sorts of different cool abilities. If you've ever wanted your Hydralisks to be able to fart in the middle of battle, and basically propel them like an inch forward, that's their ability. Hive Tech, 64 seconds to upgrade, 100 minerals, 100 gas, and it gives them a 60% movement speed increase, which is massive, for, get this, 0.71 seconds. It literally looks like they just fart themselves forward for a second, and then they just stop. If it was on Lair Tech, I might be behind it. Like, I really feel like it should either last for longer, like 1.3 seconds, or it should be on Lair Tech, because it's you know, it's just gated behind so much stuff. Like, you're like, I'm at the point in the game where no one really wants to be using Hydralisks anymore, but now they can fart, and you're like, don't know if this really helps that much. I do hope he upgrades it and doesn't just forget about it. Watch out for storms, mate. Oh, Storm got contaminated! Storm got contaminated at 99%! That's why the High Templar can't storm! Dude, that's actually sick! I didn't realize he managed to do that. Dude, that's awesome. Storm does hold him off on the left. He ends up storming a few of his own probes down there. That was a good move. About 10 more probes go down. I was like, dude, why is he just engaging into the High Templar? He came in and contaminated that Templar Archives. Great usage. I feel like Rogues just got everyone's attention with that recent usage of Mass Overseers. People are just remembering, hey, let's use Contaminate a bit more and use those Changelings a little bit more. Why not? +2 Carapace, +2 Melee in the way, as well as Ultra Cavern and Adrenal Glands. Now, Ultra Ling Hydra. Ultra Ling Bane Hydra. Dude, this is what I played in Heart of the Swarm. I would love for this style to come back in this matchup. It was always about tech switching in Heart of the Swarm. You'd go Ultras, you'd force a lot of Immortals, you'd swap into Broodlords, you'd hit a timing with that, then you'd swap back into like Ling Bane Ultra, you'd be using Vipers to catch them off guard whenever they're High Templar are in position. I remember ZvP having, like, even though I didn't feel it was necessarily fair, there was a really fun set of styles you could play back in Heart of the Swarm. I love that Elazer's trying to bring that back here, but his Ultras aren't ready just yet. He's trying to build spines in front of this. If he surrounds this army, maybe, but he's only on pure Zergling with 1-1. Adrenal Glands and 2-2 aren't quite finished. I don't think Elazer should be fighting right now. Oh, big storms caught his Zerglings. He must have caught a High Templar and something else over there, but his army's so damaged. Hydras do have double upgrades. No Frenzy. I can't believe he's not getting the dash ability. It's called Frenzy, by the way. That's right. There's a different ability called Frenzied, which is a passive on the Ultra list. Confusing? No way. Ultra's coming forward. Stalkers. Oh, man, the Stalker's taking out that Ultra. No Kindness Blading just yet. High Templar storming down the Hydras. And Showtime with an excellent push. I think Elazer there, if you're going to play Mass Ling into Ultra, you need to beeline towards it. So I think what I would identify as the mistake here is the fact that Elazer, if he was going to play Hydras, he should have played heavy Ling Bane Hydra and then tech to the Ultras later, maybe add a Viper for a Blinding Cloud in or two. But because he went basically for a few Hydras, but then he kind of just went, actually, I'm going to go Ultras. He ended up on essentially a pure Zergling army. And when you're using that army, you cannot fight front on. Showtime hit the perfect timing. I think the best play was to counterattack with every unit he had and try to base trade, because Zerglings are amazing in a base trade. If you just attack the gateway here with like 20 Zerglings, attack the Cybercore with another 15, tear it down, attack this base, attack this base. I know he had some cannons, batteries, and storm defending, but I think that was Elazer's only chance, was try to pull Showtime's army home, distract him, delay him. If you can get 2-2 Kindness Plating and like 6 or 7 Ultras, I think then the lack of Immortals in your opponent's army really hurts him. But Showtime found that perfect window. Really nice game 1 for Showtime. Oh, right, guys. Game 2, and Elazer once again comes out, sees a probe coming in, and is like, screw you, bro. Takes a third base. This time we're playing Ley Lines, guys. This is the map with lots of volcanoes on it. I love the meteor strike down here below the natural. There's also some nice like little tree forests around on an otherwise rather desolate map, but I don't mind it. It's not too bad, you know? There's a bit of an aesthetic going on. Now, Showtime, it looks like, has come around to the school of dodgy-ass hero wall-offs, which is pylon in the wall-off. The advantage of this version of it is you can wall-off with a really thick building for a full wall-off in an emergency. So even though you've got a pylon exposed, once you have another pylon behind it, it actually ends up being like a reinforced wall-off, essentially. So I'm okay with it, especially as long as you leave the choke point on the side of the third base you're taking, because your army's normally going to be centered in this central position, covering the choke point and the third at the same time. Now, Showtime, of course, harassing with his probe, being a bit of an annoyance there. We were just discussing in chat the term budgie smuggler. Apparently budgerigars, which is a small parrot, or budgies we call them, are a very common pet in Australia. Apparently they're native to Australia and they don't live anywhere else, which is why Twitch chat was very confused when I was referring to a Speedo, which I think Americans might call a banana hammock, as a... we might call that a budgie smuggler, because you're smuggling a small bird in there. Now people are telling me apparently some budgies can grow to 7 inches, so it's not as much of a hate upon the size of a man's Speedo package as it might otherwise have thought. Someone else is telling... We've got an Aussie in the chat. You know they're an Aussie, Somicron, because he's saying he's a bit of a cassowary smuggler himself. For those who don't know, a cassowary is basically a bird the size of a goddamn velociraptor. It's... he's trying to brag about the size of his man junk right there, and I don't believe it for an instant, mate. The only similarity you have in your pants to a cassowary is probably the fact that it's kind of scary to look at. If you see one in the wild, you're like, oh god, is that seems dangerous. That's the only similarity, mate. Be honest. They can claw your guts open. They've got big claws on their feet. They're a big bird, man. You guys don't know what a cassowary is? Look it up. I've never seen one in the flesh. They're very rare. I'd love to see a cassowary one day. Only seen videos of them. Adepts are on the way right now. Stargate First Oracle starting up. Double Adept coming in. Yeah, I don't mind this wall off. The Cybercore's kind of tucked in the back, which is nice. Okay, so Elazer's got 10 Zerglings, 3 Queens. A little bit safer this time. Ooh, those drones were popping at a bad time, but luckily for him, Showtime wasn't able to get in there. Oh, he gets it! Gets the drone, gets out. That's worth. Nicely done, nicely done. Of course, are we going to see Elazer just do this once again, guys? Is he just going to basically stay on 4 Queens and try to take a 4th hatchery? It feels crazy, but I feel like if you're going to do this, yeah, maybe a second Spore in one of the bases. I don't know. I still think you should play 5 or 6 Queens. I still think 5 or 6 Queens is good. I don't think you need to massively change your build orders with these changes. I think if it was like 250 minerals for a hatchery, 200 minerals for a queen, so you kind of make the change even bigger. Then I'd really be like, okay, I'm only building 3 queens just for injecting in a tiny bit of support, and I'm going to focus on spores, but we'll see how it goes. Oracle's going to try to get in there. Not worth it. And he does take 3 hit points of damage. Not a big deal. Regen the shields. Behind this, it looks like a second Oracle's out. Third Oracle starts. Third and fourth gas. Showtime's macro is always just so perfect, isn't it? His probe count's just always very nice. Even against Elazer, who's one of the greedier Zergs out there. Feels like Showtime just there's like passive pressure on you when you're playing Showtime because you know he's chrono boosting his probe so smoothly. And you're like, oh, but look, he's supply block, Pig. No, pylon just finished. As he hits the supply block, like that's how tight his build orders are. His pylons are perfectly optimized. Oh, Spore Crawler, man. You cannot be diving those spores, Showtime. That was not worth it. Oracle for a single drone. To be fair, good response with like he did a spore trick out front, did another trick in the mineral line. He now builds a macro hatchery. Wow. So Elazer really trying to push this slightly cheaper hatcheries, mate. Does Showtime not use the new ability? In the early game, no. He's focusing on Chrono Boost. I think he's using it in the mid game onwards. So once he starts dropping his third, after this next harassment wave, I think he'll start using the energy ability. But for the moment, I think he's like, look, I don't want to spend chronos on it. I need to spend all my chrono on probes because Showtime's such an economy beast. So yeah, I think he's like, he's thinking of it more as an emergency ability where he'll go back and use it to fill up his oracles if he's getting all in. But if he doesn't see an all in, he's going to play exactly the same as he was before, which is fair enough. I don't mind it because, you know, that's the downside of the energy recharge costing, you know, actual energy to use is there is that trade-off in the cost. Oracles come in, turn their lasers on. They are going to chase the Zerglings away. Oh, Zerglings on top of the ramp. Careful, boys. Queens and Zerglings trying to deal with this. This sort of adept Oracle pressure seems to be a real problem. A real problem. Like, you need to have an overcommitment to Zerglings, but you just can't fight near the Oracles, so definitely a tough situation here for Elazer. He takes a fair bit of damage, and Oracle's still hiding in the back as well. 9 drones total going down. And it's not cheap. A lot of Adepts are dying for this. The trading is still positive, but Showtime's going to go and hide up there on the edge of the main. Just out of vision right now. Oracles come in and get 1, 2, 3. Get out, get out, get out. Don't stay. You can't stay that long, Showtime. You really, when you're in spore range these days, guys, you want to kill 2 drones and leave. That's it. Come on. Sorry, guys. And we're back. Sorry, I just had to tab out for a second there. We had an audio double issue for those watching live on the stream. I'll cut that out in post. So if you're watching on YouTube and wondering why you didn't hear the issue, don't worry. You guys get a much better experience, you know? Those watching live get the true, unfiltered disaster production of a idiot StarCraft content creator who is about as good with computers as your granddad. Yeah. We'll fix that up for next time. Second Forge is coming in. Okay, same style. Showtime's playing the exact same style. He's starting, yeah, as I said, he's going to start using the energy ability now. So he starts to use it there. I would have loved him to use it one more time. I think he should actually leave the low energy Oracle back, wait for another minute, get that, and then join the front. Because it has so little energy anyway, he can't really do that much with it. Ling's looking for a cancel on the 4th. Going to 5 bases as a laser. He's going for a Hydraling Nidus. Hydraling Nidus? What? I didn't think Nidus changed at all, but like, it just seems like an oddly timed attack. 84 drone. Is it a fake Nidus? Is he just doing this to scare Showtime? This might be a scare tactic. He might be trying to get an overreaction. Only 1 Stalker's gone down so far. Good blink back micro. Showtime's like, hey, wait a second. You don't outnumber me. Your Hydras aren't really that upgraded yet. He's happy to stand and fight. And that's going to work out really well for him. He can get rid of this hatchery, pick off a few more Hydras, but Elazer's starting to push it back. These Lings come out of stasis trap behind. That's a Ling flank. He's also Nidus Worm counterattacking. Oh, Showtime needs to get out of here. Showtime needs to get out of here. His Oracles are out of energy, or one of them is. The other one needs to turn its laser beam on right now. Showtime is losing quite a few Stalkers at the same time. Nidus Worm in the back door. Elazer. Who the hell goes 85 drones, barely defending on the cusp of greed, but then is Nidusing you at the same time? It's smart. It's the last thing you'd expect. Elazer's played a super greedy defensive game. He barely defends his 5th base, gets a bit of damage there. Now the recall should be able to deal with this. Hydras are going to run away, but he's on the front at the same time. Lings are going to go in. Remember, batteries are a little tankier than they used to be. Storm is ready. He has to storm his own probes a little bit. Good storm on the Hydras, but oh, with no battery overcharge, he has to quickly morph an Archon. He does morph the Archon. Dude, Showtime doing some really good almost holding on here. And the Oracle's back on the front, but he don't want to lose the Oracles. Oh, he loses the high energy Oracle. No time to set up stasis traps. Dude, the Nidus getting across with the counterattack, not giving him time to reset, having to use his High Templar energy so early. He even pulls probes into the fight. The Hydra's trying to focus that High Templar. They didn't quite get it. Good pull back there for Showtime. Showtime, he's only got one Storm left. He's got, oh, did it just get, wait, the Hydra just got it. He just sent a Hydra forward and killed it. He needs 10 seconds for energy. He needs energy on that High Templar. He's trying to warp in Zealots. He's going to use the energy ability in a moment. Oracle using its laser to try and deal with this. The High Templar does not have energy. There we go. It's now got 2 storms available. He's got to drop one. Tries to get in range. He does drop it on a few of those Hydras. It's a decent storm, but I think he's already lost too many units at the same time. The third base under threat. And oh man, did he get another Nidus? He got another Nidus with Hydras in the main as well. Showtime could not hang on. It looked like Showtime was doing really well, but he just did not realize that surprising Nidus worm coming out from Elazer was such a good counterattack the moment he defended the Stalkers. Really well played. All right, guys. We've got a laser in the left side of El Dorado. The City of Gold. Showtime over here as well. The mythical City of Gold. Keep in mind, this map has mineral walls. That's right. South side of the map is walled off, similar to Amphion or Golden Wall. You can mine these minerals. It's 2 barriers of 10. There's a gold base on this side, which has 2 10 mineral blockers, or you can take it as a pure gold base from the south. I think these are just normal bases. No, that's actually a 6 mineral gold. 2 gases down here. And yeah, that's about it in terms of the mineral walls. Otherwise, you can expand along the corners, along the top. I imagine Showtime will probably wall this off, mine this open, and then take this as a third. Potentially. Or he could just go to, I don't know, going to the top. It's such a harder rush distance for Zerg. I think third base up there might be the play, guys. Just like expand to the corner of the map. Because even though the fourth base is far away to defend, it's so hard for Zerg to get into that corner. They got to run into a narrow corridor to surprise you. Now, Elazer was planning to go 14 hatchery, but I think because he saw no probe, I think he ended up going for that hatchery a little bit later. I think he ended up squeezing in the 2 more drones and still doing it on 16. Big thank you for the subs, guys. Really appreciate the support. Thanks so much for keeping the hype train going. If you guys are watching on YouTube and you've been enjoying the content, I want to say 2 things. Don't worry, we'll have more tournaments on the new patch soon. I'm going to run a King of the Hill, as I was saying, as soon as we get a chance to get the latest changes and I can get some players in. And we are trying to just really push to get as many pro players active as possible. But if you guys are enjoying the content, you want to go a bit of an extra mile to sport, check out the Patreon in the description below. We don't really talk about it much. Try to just kind of cast games, get in, get out, give you what you're here for. But yeah, if you guys are really enjoying it, you can spare a few bucks if you feel like it. Yeah, it's a way to support. If not, no worries. Watching the content, commenting, just being positive, always a good way to support the community. Remember, if you guys ever do have feedback on the casting, you disagree with an analysis I say or anything like that, feel free to mention it. As always, use timestamps. You know, because I cast a lot of games, and sometimes I get a comment from a video I cast a week earlier. I've cast 10 different series in the meantime. And they're like, I can't believe you said oracles aren't good or something. And I'm like, man, this is a 5-game series I've cast. Like, I don't know where I said that or what the context is. Like, I'd love to listen to it and respond and maybe explain myself. But yeah, always use those timestamps. You can always just type down the time in the video in a YouTube comment, and then I can click on that, or anyone can, and it'll jump them to that point of the video. Just makes it really easy to have a bit of back and forth, and always open to feedback from the community. There's a certain amount of balance winding that goes on that I kind of just ignore. You know, people are always going to be a little bit upset about their race or this or that. But definitely engage with the things that are a little bit more cerebral. People thinking things through a little bit more. Speaking of which, Elazer's going to open this up and go for the south base. Interesting. Now, guys, how big were the giants on this map that this is the size of their ring? Or is it a different sort of ring? No, I still, like, what creatures were on this planet that these are the currency they're using? They're drinking out of these cups. By the way, the cups are not the same size as the rings. That ring is way bigger, like, than a cup even. Who has a ring that's bigger than a cup? That's crazy. The necklace is also a way too small. Maybe it's a bracelet or like an anklet or something. I don't know. Anyway, the whole lore of this map is very confusing to me. But it is what it is. Oh, Overlord sneaking down. This would be a good map for Nidus Worm, much like Amphion. Okay, we got Lings coming forward. There is a bit of a radioactive spill in the middle of this map. Terran has definitely been here, guys. I don't know why it's coming out of the temple, though. Why are there radioactive barrels coming out of the Protoss temple? They're like, yeah, we're collecting all the Protoss crystal terrazine or something. I don't know. Oh, Void Ray into Tempest, guys. 2 Stargate Tempest. Nice way to abuse this map, right? Especially the hatchery being taken towards you. And less queens for Zerg. Oh, and Elazer always goes for a late lair. If Elazer plays the same he's played the previous 2 games, it's actually an auto loss because his lair has been very late in both games. I'm pretty sure he started his lair at like 5:30. If you start your lair at 5:30, it means it doesn't finish till 6:30, which means your Spire finishes at like 7 minutes 40 at the earliest, at which point Tempests have not just killed this base, they've probably killed your main as well. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to work, man. Terran using Protoss temples as dumping grounds as historical commentary, that's too real. Oh, like the environmental committee came around and like to check and they're like, oh, all the barrels are gone? They're like, yep, we use a biodegradable toxic waste system here. And secretly they've just hidden them all in the native temple. Oh, wow. Dark. Mapmaker bringing some dark references out. Lings are going to go back this way. It's not too bad. Few probes go down, but, you know, you kill 6 Zerglings. I wonder if Showtime walls off this northern side. He still hasn't taken a third. And at this point, I think Elazer's going to start feeling a little suspicious, but he's just massing Lings. And his lairs... So, okay, 511 lair, guys, which means Spy is going to be finishing at earliest at about 625. Tectonic destabilizers on the way. First Tempest coming out. He's going to go with the first Tempest straight away. It's been scouted, so there's no more secrets in this. I really feel like Elazer should have gone there earlier, but because he had no gas mind, he couldn't immediately go there when he saw the Tempests. He's trying to take that gold base from the reverse side. Void Ray does get pushed away. Tempest, it can be annoying. You don't really want to put too much attention into this, though. The Lings come in, surround the Nexus. Elazer's the king of canceling Protoss third bases, guys. He's so good at it. The Adept, though, does hold the door. Tempest fighting Zerglings is one of the funnier interactions in StarCraft, but Queen's killing a Tempest! Ooh, and Showtime avoids chucking a hero. For those who don't know, chucking a hero is when your whole strategy relies on your Tempest outranging Queens, but then you fly 2 of them into the Queens and lose 2 of them in a very clutch map against... Was it Serral or Raynor that series? I think it was the Serral one, right? It was such a tragic one, wasn't it? I think it was the same game where the 6 Void Rays got corrosive biled. Showtime, not one to make mistakes like that, though. Tempest coming forward, getting themselves a drone. They can deny mining, but they should really be looking to take out these Queens as much as possible. Yeah, I think you should be microing forward very aggressively. You really want a Elazer to be running at you, and then you just start a step back. Remember, these Tempests are a little more microable than they used to be, and they only cost 4 supply. Nice cancel on the Spore! He actually dodged an entire wave of Tempest shots there. But more drones going down, and the like Spire has begun. Still 45 seconds till the Spire's done, and then you've got to queue up those Corruptors. Tectonic destabilizers, that's plus 40 damage. Double damage versus buildings is almost finished. We're up to 5 Tempests. 5 Tempests can one-shot a Queen, but you got to sync it up. You got to sync it up. You got to keep it calibrated. I don't know why the Tempests are listening to the Offspring. I guess these Protoss found a bunch of Terran albums and changed them to sing about murdering Zerg. Anyways, Queen does barely survive there. Gonna need some more transfusers, but he doesn't have the energy. The Spy is still not quite done. Tempest, come on. Tempest trying to come down south. He's trying to pick things off. You don't want to lose that weak Tempest. I think a rotate here would be good. Yeah, good rotate there for Showtime. I think Elazer's doing amazing with his Queens. I can't believe if he keeps this third alive, I would be floored. No, Spy's only just finished. Showtime has too much time to work. He's got 6 Tempests out, 2 Void Rays with Flux Veins building. Queen's going down, Hatchery has already fallen. Overlords aren't bad pickoffs as well. But Elazer, he's on 85 workers. He's got a new 3rd base mining, 4th and 5th base building in the top of the map. Losing this is not the end of the game because Showtime committed so much, his 3rd got cancelled. This is actually an even game. I think this is an even game. Don't get me wrong, 20 worker advantage is good for Elazer. Maybe he comes out on top. Air weapons is very late for Showtime. Showtime has to be ready to snap recall. Corruptors are starting to come out. It's go time. It's time to leave. Maybe kill a Corruptor and then leave, but you gotta just recall, bro. You can't stay here any longer. He's gonna fly into a Spore Crawler. He's trying to fight right now. Showtime overcommitting right now. Oh, no! You can't be throwing the Tempest Void Ray away, bro. Okay, that Void Ray is gonna try and make an escape. The Tempest barely gets out of there, but he's lost, what, 3? 2 Tempest, 1 Void Ray. Okay, I thought he would lose even more than that. He should be able to defend with this, though. And for Mr. Clockwork, Mr. Elazer, no Roachhorn, no Hydroden. He's just going to go infestation, no Evo Chambers either. Elazer, you got to spend that money, man. You can't just be building Corruptors and drones. Like, he needs ground tech as well, because you got to imagine that Showtime's pivoting into ground. Yet somehow Elazer just knows that when Showtime plays this style, he just doesn't transition. I don't know how he knows this. I guess he must have experience playing against this before. Showtime's going to take a pure gold base, which I don't know if that's really worth it. I guess it'll allow him to build a lot of zealots. Mama's on the way. Oh, we got the new mothership, guys. Plasma shields, +1 air weapons. I think you need to get +2 air as quickly as possible. So chrono boosting Cybercore is very important here for Showtime. Now remember, you can fill up energy on units. He doesn't have any energy units though, which is a problem. Dude, just going straight hive with no Evo. Guys, Elazer is so discombobulated from the Tempest pressure. He's going straight to hive tech with no Evos. You gotta go double upgrades here, surely. Lings and Corruptors are good. I'm not saying he's in a desperate position yet, but I'm like, come on, man. The longer we go without getting upgrades, like, I guess there's no ground upgrades. So you could argue you can get away without it. Just seems a bit of an odd choice. He wants to go Lurker Corruptor by the looks of it. Top base is now mining. How many gases are there? Only 6 gas mining for Elazer. He definitely needs to take a few more of these gases. See how he goes. Ling on the watchtower there. Void Ray is going to clean that up. Random Corruptor in the open. Showtime. 15 Corruptors against 7 Void Rays and 4 Tempests. It's kind of close. I'm not sure. We've got Templar Archives coming in. Another carrier. So it's going to be 1 carrier, a few Void Rays. Getting a carrier in the mix is always good. It kind of, you know, confuses your opponent's units. Some of them are always time attacking interceptors. It's a good generic damage unit. Oh, Void Ray Corruptor coming forward. Oh, 1, 2, 3 Corruptors. And he doesn't even kill a Void Ray. Yes, you get to cancel the Nexus, but you got to be careful throwing away Corruptors like that. As Mr. Elazer. Tempests, you don't want to go too deep though. Careful, mate. Hydra Ling Corruptor. Guys, I'm sorry. I told you guys this was a laser. I think it's time to reveal the dirty secret. This might actually be Loco because he's trying to play Hydra Corruptor against Skytoss. Normally it's a hard stuck Masters 1 Dutch Zerg player who does this move right before he complains on the Battle.net forums about the balance not being good. I don't know, man. I don't know about the Hydra Corruptor combo. Loco's famous for losing games with this. This is wild, man. Lurkaden should definitely be going down. He doesn't have it just yet. Evo Chamber's only now going down at 11 minutes. If Showtime can max out with Storm, Archons, I think his army's better quality. But Elazer has the much bigger income right now. Tries to get a Void Ray. Loses a Corruptor for it. Cancel on the base. Good cancel here for Showtime. But Showtime's so technical with these armies. And Elazer's going to start taking his bases, but Hydraling Corruptor, I feel like Elazer's kind of getting stuck on a weird army comp. He's got a lot of workers. He's going to try and use static defense to support his army, which is a good call. It's a good way of spending your money. But I think at some point, you're going to just have to throw away 20 of those drones to get more army supply. Now, it looks like right now, Elazer's going to go for an adventurous PP maneuver. Oh, he's pushing forward. No, the Corruptors come back. I thought he was going to go around to the Corruptors and try and pee on this Nexus, but looks like he's been pushed back. He's trying to move his Spores forward. This is crazy. Doing a Spore Crawler push into Skytoss, but seems to be, I mean, the Spores do more damage. They do have less hit points, though, so they actually get literally 4 shot by Tempests now, guys. Tempests do 80 damage. Spore only has 300 max hit points. Does do more damage versus all these units, but I don't think that necessarily is going to be, you know, it's such a weird thing to do here. Hydraling on the ground, maybe helping out. Good Storm to start. Good Storm to start. Another one of the Zerglings. No siege units is going to go Broodlords. Oh, where does that rock tower go, guys? What does that even do? Oh, that collapses this path. I didn't even know that was a thing. He's like, yeah, you can't get down here. I can clear these cannons. Okay, cute move there for Elazer, guys. Now, Elazer has about 50 million bases, but remember, this is 4 bases. This one may only be minerals, but there is a lot of minerals coming in off that base for Showtime. And you're not really mining off all these new bases, right? Even though Elazer is going to like 10 plus bases, you can't mine them all at once, right? You can only mine so many at a time. He could try to steal resources from Showtime's side of the map while just stalling him out. Mama, get out of there! Mama's so tanky now. I actually quite like the extra 100 hit points, 100 shields. Does make a difference. It does make a difference. As much as we complain about her costing more, extra 100 minerals, 100 gas, the extra 2 supply, the tankiness does help a little bit. It's something maybe we've undersold a little bit. Not going to say it's a massive buff or anything, but definitely is kind of nice occasionally when she gets caught out. Cloaking Field goes down. Time Warp's still available. He's trying to save Time Warp for the last second. Oh, the Void Rays and the Storms on the Corruptors are pretty brutal. I don't know if Hydra Corruptor can ever beat Skytoss Storm, guys. If Elazer wins this game with this, I'm going to have a newfound respect for Loco because it turns out he had the right strategy all along. He was just too bad at microing it. My instincts tell me, as well as the units lost tab, that's not going to happen though. Corruptors come forward, get a Void Ray or two. Still 6,000 resources lost advantage for Mr. Showtime. Zealots are going to pull back as well. We've got units rallying all the way from every side of the map. And what is the answer now? Only one spire. I think second spire upgrade might be important. +2 air weapons is so late, though. Both players have been a little lazy on their air upgrades. We do have 4 Broodlords and 11 more drones making. This man is massing static defense, guys. He's going to go for a big, firm static defense. And you know what? Showtime's stuck on 4 bases, so if he can just stall Showtime out from expanding, he will be able to build a much bigger bank than him. Surely the income is bigger right now for the Zerg. Indeed it is, especially on the gas front. Corrupted Ling Hydra trying to avoid side storms. There's more where that came from. The Broodlords do help out though, but wait, detection does disappear. You need those Overseers a bit closer to the front, mate. Broodlords getting gunned down by the Tempests. Nice focus fire on those Tempest guys. 5 Tempests only costing 20 supply. That used to be 25 supply. The extra 5 supply might not sound big, but it does make a big difference. Nice storms do land down there. Mothership comes in once again to tank, and Mama just being an absolute thorn in the side of Elazer. 18 more drones. This man has decided his weapon of the day is going to be camping. This man is building a tent reinforced out of metal. This is when you go to the campsite and there's a guy just making a log cabin and you're like, aren't we only staying here overnight? And he's like, I believe shelter is the most necessary thing for survival. And you're like, okay, weirdo. And then he's like, he turns off his camera because it's one of those videos you see on YouTube where like man builds cabin using ancient logging techniques, and then like a tractor and the professional construction crew come out and build the thing. And then he like pauses every now and then to pretend he's the one like carrying the logs, even though it's like a crane. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, nice counterattacks for the Zealots trying to deny these top right bases. Showtime needs a new expansion. He's going to refocus on the north of the map, and I think that's a really good choice. Zealots going through the south as well. For those who don't know, the Mothership right now is bugged in the PTR. She does, well, not bugged, but they put it in wrong. She has 4 times the initial damage. She was meant to have her individual beams go down to 4 damage each from 6, but they've stayed at 6. So it's 4 times 6. It's 4 times 24 damage total, but she can only shoot at separate targets. She can't target the same unit with separate beams. So she has to spread her damage out. But it does look very cool when she's attacking. Oh, Corruptor's coming in. Storms. Big storms landing. Time Warp Storm. Oh, man, you got to get out. Time Warp is so big. 50% movement or 30% movement and attack speed reduction, something like, or I think it's 50% movement, 33% attack speed reduction when you're in it. It's massive. Either way, you do not ever want to hang around in that Time Warp. It's so big. Showtime is mauling Elazer right now. Elazer does not seem to have answers to the late game. Now, guys, remember, they fixed the Broodlord. The Broodlord at max range was only shooting about half as much as it should have previously. So at max range, the Broodlord has effectively been, you could say it's double the DPS at max range. So they fixed a bug where there's a reason why the Broodlord was so hopeless in the last patch. A lot of pros were complaining, oh, it's so bad now. I didn't even realize there was a bug making it not perform the way it was supposed to. Ooh, there we go. Broodlord's coming down. They should be able to defend this. The Archon's actually killing a Broodlord. Oh my gosh. Dude, can he get it? He gets a Broodlord kill. Chad Gamer, Archon. Ling Hydra coming back with the Broods. The Zealots are doing decent damage. Showtime. Happy to trade a few Zealots away because he's secured a new base, and that's the most important thing. Even though Elazer had more income, he didn't have massively more income, especially on the minerals. It's been very similar this whole time. And of course, Showtime is massively out trading him until this moment. Big Storm does help holding him back. The Archons and Void Rays can help out a little bit. The army advantage seems to go to Elazer, grabbing the Tempest and a few Void Rays on the way out. First really good engagement for him. Archon starts to go down to the Broodlords as well. No spines on these edge bases. Elazer's down to 77 workers and his bank is gone. The units lost tab 9,000 resources in favor of Showtime. Does lose an Archon there before recalling the Void Rays back to safety. And what's the remax, guys? It's Mothership, a single Immortal that's just YOLOing in here. It's mostly just Mothership, Void Ray. I mean, Showtime needs gas. Showtime's actually in huge trouble. Elazer just weathered the worst part of the storm because he's got 1 High Templar right now and 1 Archon. Oh no, Elazer not watching. The Corruptors fly in and like 6 Corruptors just went down. 48 Corruptors have died this game. Broodlord's in the opening. You know Showtime's on the warpath. Guys, when you see an exposed Broodlord, I mean, this is like your enemy are just sitting out in an open field. They don't realize you've spotted them and you're calling in the artillery strike. And that's exactly what Showtime's doing right now. Enemy in the open, no cover, hanging around, call in that artillery strike. Somehow, those faster Broodlords actually able to micro out of there. So, you know what? Elazer really using the Broodlord micro from the last 2 speed buffs they've got very well. Mama goes down. For the Corruptors, can they take down the Void Rays? Hydra's coming in from behind. I think Elazer might have this. I can't believe it. Hydra Corruptor? Hydra Corruptor? Can he do it? He gets the High Templar. No storms. Hydra Corruptor! Pig in tatters! I was wrong the whole time! Loco is a genius. He has 300 IQ. I bow down to you, Lord Simon Loco, Lord of StarCraft YouTube. All those games you lost, it was just because you're not as skilled. If the pro players were copying you this whole time, they would be winning all their games against Skytoss with Hydra Corruptor. You see, this is it. People say like, oh, I have GM game knowledge, I just don't have the execution to execute it. Apparently, Loco, same problem. GG, well played. Elazer now up 2-1. All right, guys. We've got Elazer in the top right side of the map. Showtime in the bottom left. And we're going to be on Princess Amidala. That's right, guys. This is the map named after Natalie Portman from the fantastic best Star Wars movie ever made, featuring, of course, the real star of Star Wars, Jar Jar Binks, when they introduced the heart of the entire series. And I just felt like, you know, it went from a really bad kind of pop space drama soap thing to actually being really good at that point. I don't know about you guys. I just feel like that was where Star Wars got good. You know what's funny? I obviously I'm joking. I grew up with the original Star Wars films and it's definitely Princess Amidala. Yes, that's definitely the name. Definitely not amygdala. Anyways, I only in the last few, maybe 4 years ago, I finally watched all of the second and third of that the prequels, because I'd watched part of them and like was kind of like ugh. I went and watched them and I'd built them up to be so bad in my head that I was pleasantly surprised. They weren't, obviously they're nowhere near as good as the original 3 films, but I was like, I built them up to be so bad in my head that I was like, these are not as much of hot garbage as I thought they were. They're not good. But you know what? They were much worse than I remember them. You know, they're not as bad as I remember them being. Ewoks do beat Jar Jar Binks for sure. Jar Jar is very annoying. But, I mean, it's always like a fun kind of... It is a very kid-friendly franchise, right? Star Wars, and there's always like some cute and silly characters, but just felt like they blended it better and had less weird stuff. Like some of those scenes. And the second one, especially, I think it was... You just feel like you're like, what is... And all the CGI, actually, the let's use CGI at that point in time and over-reliance on it, that was like the series of films which like really reminded us how blessed we were with like the animatronics of the 90s with like Jurassic Park and the different outfits in the original Star Wars films and stuff. You're like, did they look campy and silly? Kind of, yes. But they still look so much better than the CGI in the prequels. So much better. The lower the res, the better the prequels look. That's actually, I watched them on a plane. Maybe that's also why I wasn't as affronted by the CGI on rewatching, because I remembered it being so bad. So I'm watching on like, you know, the size of a screen the size of a Coke can in the back of the chair in front of me. So it's not exactly great for identifying the bad pixel quality and stuff. Anyways, anyway, let's get into it, guys. We've got 2 adapts, Oracle opening, very standard stuff for Elazer, nothing crazy for Showtime. Sorry, Elazer did have to take that third base. Showtime's been pretty adamant about disrupting Elazer's opening. I don't think that's a pretty solid way to play. You don't want to throw these adepts away. 2 queens ready to greet you. That's always going to be enough to push you away. Shading towards the main base. But with 4 lings, or 5 even, and a queen, more than enough to stop that. Shading into that would be never worth it. So apparently, guys, on Whispers of Gold, did we see Whispers of Gold in these games today? I don't think we did. It's located in the far corner of the map and could be immediately... yeah, so basically there's a healing shrine that was in the far corner of Whispers of Gold, but it, for some reason, has been omitted in the PTR version. So they took the healing shrine out, which is such a bummer. I'd love there to be a healing shrine on one of these maps. Apparently, they could balance it by throwing an air blocker on it, so air units can't heal in it. TLMC has been stonewalling on providing an explanation, as their last excuse for the shrine removal in Ghost River was wait until next patch, which is obviously expired. Yeah, okay, I wonder. Maybe there's like some sort of feedback from like Blizzard or something where they're like, this is too experimental, or ESL is like worried about, you know, it's going to wreck tournament results. I feel like if we have one map that has a healing shrine and we're just like, well, that's way better for Protoss because healing oracles up is actually so good. Well, we've already decided we put air blockers so you can only heal ground units. Okay, so we've already, okay, but man, healing Hellions on the map is so too useful or something. Like maybe we learn something. If it's one map in a map pool, I don't think it's a big deal. Oracle's going to get 1, 2. Don't go for the third. Never go for the third, guys. This is the rule I have learnt with the new Spore Crawler after casting these games. Never go for the third. Always, the second drone is worth it. The third is never worth it. Not with the new Spore Crawler damage. It's way too high. So anyway, guys, Team Liquid map contest is what TLMC is. It's where they get the new ladder maps from and stuff, and they're voted on by the community in the Team Liquid map contest is where judges vote on the finalists, and then the community votes on which maps win a bunch of money. And usually it's the winners that end up on the ladder. Sometimes there's some finalists that weren't actually winners that end up on the ladder as well. They just get picked by whoever, I guess pro gamers and stuff. But yeah, I'd love to see, like, even if there's, like I said, even if a healing shrine on a map is broken, it's one map that'll just get vetoed every game and every tournament. And we go, cool, experiment over. Healing shrine only gets used when you have Bly and Haas playing because they're the only 2 players crazy enough to not veto it. You know, like, okay, cool. Like, it's not something we want to use much of because the pro players feel it's way too favored in a certain match. At least we learn that from it being in the pool, and I get to screw around on ladder having fun with it, as do you guys. We've got vetoes on the ladder as well. So I feel like, you know, experimenting with one map a season is so safe, and I would be happy for them to experiment with even more than that. But we'll see how we go. I'm not sure of the reasoning behind that. I'm sure there could be some behind the scenes stuff going on. Oracle coming in. Go for the gas. Don't go in spore range. Don't go in spore range. Yeah, that's the trick. You can tank the queen forever. As long as you just don't go anywhere near the spore crawler. The stress when you see... I love it, guys. The spore crawler used to be like throwing tennis balls. And now you're like, oh, God. When you see that blob of mucus, it's like someone actually is hucking up a big old loogie and is trying to just spit it on you. And you're like, oh, God, that's... No! Trying to blow... You know, when you see someone... They lean back to aim their nostril at you. They put one thumb over one of their other nostril, and you see them do a big breath in, and you're like, oh no! You know, you got to duck and cover. When you see that spore crawler shooting at you, you got to get out of there. Now, we do have a dropper lord coming in on the left side, so we're going to try and maybe drop some zerglings or something like that on that side, which is really cool. Looks like a pureling hydra build for Elazer, 85 workers. If he can defend this pressure, he'll be in a good spot. Remember, only 4 queens already on 4 bases. If he gets away with this greed, Elazer could just run away with this dude. Elazer really trying to utilize the changes. Less queens, more hatcheries, more of a mobile army. And I feel like against this style, Showtime really should be hitting Glaive Adept pressures, Charge Lord Archon pressures. But hey, is this Stalker pressure actually going to be tight enough? There's 9 Hydras on the way. This could turn south very quickly if these Hydras start to gather up. But a lot of Lings have already bled out. Oracle's doing so well. Showtime's trading here is so good. I think he might have to get out now, though. He's staying too long. He's got to get out. Run, run, run. Showtime, back off. Link's coming out of Stasis Trap behind him. The Stalker's starting to fall. You're seeing a lot more Hydra Link come out, and he did overstay his welcome a little bit. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we saw the production tab. We knew. He loses 4 Stalkers. I still think that's a great trade for him. He got 46 Zerglings, 2 Hydras, and a Queen. Scared the heck out of Elazer as well. Now, there's a drop lord on that left side. He could split 4 Hydras off to a 4 Hydra drop would be great. Remember that Overlords did get buffed in the previous patch, I think it was. They're like Overlord drop lords are slightly faster or something like that. Oh, here we go, 30 supply advantage. Stalker's trying to blink back. Stalker's trying to pull away up the ramp. Stasis Trap kind of helping out a little bit. Especially without Muscular Augments done, these fights don't feel great for Elazer, but I understand why he's got to push him back. There's that 4 Hydra drop we were waiting for, heck yeah. Now, Hydra drop is like a Marine drop, except they cost way more than Marines. But Zerg can mass units much easier than Terran, right? So you've got like, okay, you're spending more raw resources. And Hydras are kind of like a permanently stimmed Marine, I guess is a way of thinking of them, right? They don't have to spend hit points, but it's way more expensive to lose this than it would be to lose a few Marines in a medevac. So you got to be very careful with it. Setting up the Stasis Traps on the front. I like the fact that he's doing these old multi-prong styles. This is so hard of the Swarm, guys. This is bringing back nostalgia for me. I love that Elazer plays so many old school styles. Oh, but the Storms are going to get him. The Storms are going to get him. Meanwhile, he's doing some fancy Hydra drop micro like a Terran player. He does pick up and get out of there, but he lost a bunch of Hydras on the front. He has to back away. I do like this play, though. I love this play. If he can actually double it up, go for 4 more Overlords, do a big Hydra Ling drop where even a Warpin can't deal with it, that could be amazing. Hive's almost finished. +2 range is on the way. No melee upgrade just yet. Still single Evo, whereas 3-2 now starting for Protoss. Showtime's got four bases, 8 gases, and 3-2 on the way. If he can survive the next attack, I pretty much feel like he runs away with this. On the other hand, there is Lurker range on the way. I mean, Lurkers, he doesn't have an answer to. He's just started his first Immortal. He's only got a few Zealots and Stalkers ready for the drop on the left side. Warp Prism's going to come out. He's going to see it. Hydra's intercept. Hydra's not going to be able to intercept there. And that Prism will run up north. He's going to split a big pack of Hydras to deal with that. The threat of the Warp Prism guy is a 2-supply unit. It's one of the big asymmetrical advantages to Protoss. It's the threat that has to be respected of that Warp Prism. Going to try and get it though. Prism not being watched. Hydras could get it. Neither player watching because they're both distracted down the bottom right now. Showtime, Maisie and Vision. Neither side knows. They're both just chilling. Oh man. If those Hydras move to the edge, they get the snipe. Showtime flies past. He's in the clear. Both sides not watching. Fleet Beacon on the way for Showtime right now. 3-2 upgrades coming in. I'd love to see him start those air upgrades as well. He goes for a second Fleet Beacon next to the first Fleet Beacon that just finished, guys. Gonna question that one, I am. +1 air weapons and a robo, no doubt. He's just a little bit excited. It's Showtime, and he kind of just forgot that he'd already built it. It's a very expensive structure. 500 resources, guys. 300 minerals, 200 gas. It ain't cheap, son. Nice revelations up there. Storms can keep him back, so Showtime's army loses to the Lurkers, but he can at least like hold this position quite nicely. And look at that, blinking high ground, low ground dynamics. Wait, nice watchtower control. Need a storm to help that out. Showtime. Showtime comes in the north side. His Prism's hitting the main at the same. He's trying to hit some 3-pronged. Hydra's got a really good trade on the bottom. They killed a few Stalkers, but a few Stalkers ain't going to be breaking Showtime anytime soon. Gets to the main with a big Zealot Warp in as well. How many gateways do we have? 8 gateways, and that's a big 8 Zealot Warp in. Hard for Zerglings to deal with 2-1. Zealot. Zerglings are almost worthless against that. He needs the Hydras. Top base does go down at the same time. Hydras on move command. That's a problem. Bunch of Hydras falling to the Zealots. They are incredibly zealous as they charge into battle. Let's see if the Hydras can take out the Warp Prism. And it looks like no micro for Showtime on that front. Oh, that's why Lurker drop came in the back, guys. Lurker in the front. Lurker dropping into the back of the natural and in the back of the main. Oh, me, oh my. Very nice move here for Elazer. Just when it looked like Showtime had him pinned, had control. Elazer is going to get Lurkers, Nidus Worms, and all sorts of pressure into the bases. Observer comes back. That one will go down. The other one out front already got cleaned up. The Lurker in the back will get cleaned up soon, as will the Nidus Worm. And there we go, Showtime pulling back. He's got to control the right side. He's trying to use stasis traps and storms to defend there while pulling his units back to defend the main base. And it looks like he's done it. He does manage to hold on. The stasis trap spam is really big. And of course, he can refill the High Templar, he can refill the Oracles. He's been pretty good at doing that. We haven't been catching it on camera, but he has been doing it. Oh, he loses a High Templar with a lot of energy. But there we go. He just refilled one of those High Templars. He's still got 4 storms on the south side. Lovely usage on that energy ability. It is so, so, so good. Did you guys know the aura from the 2 fleet beacons right next to each other is insane? Yeah. There's actually a rule a lot of people don't realize. It's called Protoss Science. It's a passive ability where the space in between the 2 fleet beacons gives a 400% bonus to all unit stats, but only when they're in between the 2 fleet beacons, like that. So very rare ability, doesn't get used, but he's setting that up as sort of like a defensive position. I'm definitely talking out of my ass, guys. I am lying. Don't listen to anything I just said. Lurkers are sieged up outside of the base. There's 12 of them. A few probes are going down. Double gas going down on the gold base as well. Stalker Arc on High Templar up there. The new stasis trap spam is kind of frustrating. Definitely can be. Does take a bit of APM to set it all up, but at the highest levels, it's a good way to disincentivize people shoving in. And, you know, it's not the most reliable at high levels, I would say, but definitely Elazer's just trying to get used to it, and with this multi-pronged style, struggling to get rid of Showtime. Does get a few Hydras that storm, but he's going to push him back, and you know what? Showtime gets pushed off this base. He's only got 3 Immortals. He's trying to get Tempest. He doesn't want to go Mass Immortal. The Tempest is a better response, and this is one of those things I always obsess over, getting a heavy Immortal count to deal with the Lurkers. I kind of like that Showtime's like, okay, I'll get some Immortals, but I also want to go Tempest, because Tempest counter Broodlords as well, whereas Immortals get countered by Broodlords. They don't help as much in his variety of a situation. Overseer Changeling's going to be going in. Up on the top side, High Templar in the open. Oh no, these Hydras getting jumped on Showtime. So Showtime's doing a very advanced piece of control. He's basically focusing heavily on Storm on both sides of the map at the same time, but oh no! He F2'd in panic up the top, he F2'd, and he let Elazer take position, but Mama comes in with Cloak, and that beam is actually just so cool. I love that she shoots 4 units at once, it just looks cool. I do think he's going to lose a few probes. He shouldn't lose the Nexus, but oh, he's got to get 4. He has to just fight this. He cannot afford the Tempests to lose. He has to do a few more Storms on these Lurkers, let these Tempests and maybe some Storms and Immortals come forward to try to clear this out. Revelation comes down, and there we go. The Tempest will be able to defend, but Showtime's taking big damage. Speaking of big damage, Changelings in the main base, and oh no! Showtime keeps being about to stabilize, but Elazer's into his backdoor with a sneaky tactic there. And this main base is in trubs right now. Oh me, oh my. The Immortal Archon over there does defend this Nexus. Main base, he does some good Storms. Okay, he does defend. Showtime, though, he's got to kind of get his feet underneath him. Right now, I would say he's looking stressed. He's making a few small mistakes. He's giving up ground. He still has this new base up the top, but it's like not fully mining gas or anything like that. And you know Elazer's not done yet. He's still got his Overseer perving in the back door. He's got this Lurker Hydra push dangerously close, denying one of these gases from mining right now. Does get a Storm down, but he loses a High Templar for just a couple of Hydras. Nice Storms on the Overseers. That's big. That's really big. And now the Tempest can start pushing this back. Stalker's warping in. I think Showtime realizes I can't be leaving your vision here. I've got to blink up there. Get rid of that Overseer. Clear up the vision in my main base. Lurker's there. Watch out. High Templar going to go down, mate. Ooh. Does lose a High Templar, but a few Immortals go down. A few Immortals get snipes on the Lurkers. He just used Microbial Shroud, guys, which does reduce air damage by half. It means the Tempest goes down from about 40 to 20 damage against the Hydras. Does help out here, the Microbial Shroud. Remember, it sticks to the units even after they leave the Microbial Shroud, so you're not just a sitting duck for Psystorm, which is an awesome buff. He frenzies forward! Oh! Elazer! He uses the Frenzy Dash ability, realizing there was no Psystorm. He goes for a cheeky little YOLO. That is the fart gas I was talking about. Normally a rather uninspiring ability. That was the rare case where it actually looked kind of awesome. That was cool. I love it. That actually looked awesome, guys. Maybe, you know, Showtime's already getting mauled, so there's a little part of me that's like, leave Showtime alone. You know, I'm kind of like, just give him a minute. Let him defend this base, please, Elazer. Elazer's got a lot of minerals, but not that much gas in the bank. Showtime finally defends this base. Elazer's been really good at trying to focus down the High Templar with the Hydras as well. And this army up here is going to get toasted, unfortunately. Feedbacks, maybe. Ooh, gets a few Immortals or a few Snipes. Does get a good Storm. But losing Immortals, not something Showtime can afford. Showtime's so sick of defending. He's like, screw this. I'm counterattacking. You've had me pinned for too long. I need to get out here. 59 probes. The supply is dangerously close right now. There's a lot of Zerglings being built. Elazer's like, ah, crap. I wish I mined more gas this game. I think he's mining the gold gases. He is mining both of those gold-based gases. He's got some Hydra Infestor coming out. I love that he's trying to use the new Microbial Shroud. Storms! Ooh, you see Frenzy there. It's meant to be used to kind of dodge storms, and Disruptor shots is one of the use cases people have said for it, which is freaking cool, man. I do like that as a sort of skillful ability to give Hydra some longevity into the late game. Ling Hydra going for a bit of a crazy engagement here for Elazer, and I think he should pull back. I mean, yeah, trade the Lings, get the Hydras out, get the Hydras out. He's counterattacking at the same time. Hydra Ling base trade might be the best play here for Mr. Elazer. The supply is dangerously close, despite Elazer having a 4k mineral bank. This might be one of those games where you're throwing the kitchen sink at the Protoss all game long, but because you don't balance your economy, they just manage to survive and get back in it. Potentially, I'm not quite sure. Frenzy on cooldown there, used it already. Second Storm and Zealots, massive damage. Great cleanup for Showtime on the right flank. Should be able to clean up the rest of that very soon now. Showtime does have a bit of mining still available. Not a lot, but he's got a little bit. And he's starting to siege in. Fungal comes in. Hydraling, I think Elazer's engaging too early. He doesn't want to give up this base. It's so important for him. But he just doesn't quite have the numbers here. He lost so many Hydras. If he can surround this army, he could do it. Those High Templar are low on energy. Storm's getting real low. The Storm's getting real low there, big guy. Storm and the Hydras and the Infestors taking damage. Fungal landing. There is no Hydra flank in place, and I think Elazer's bleeding out too many units. Showtime right now is dragging himself back into this game through immense efficiency. 13,000 resources more in the units lost. Mama's coming in with her quad beam, and she says, behold my laser, Zerg player. Oh, you're gonna dash into me? Mama baits him, pulls back on the Reddit points. She has 45 kills, by the way, guys. I just noticed that. The new Mothership, especially with the damage not going through correctly and being a bit higher than it's meant to, she has 45 kills. Oh my. Oh my, especially when there's only one carapace and you have 2 air attack upgrades. So she's doing 4 times 8 times 8, or if the carapace 4 times 7 times 7. She was doing a crazy amount of damage, dude. That's awesome. She was doing over 100 damage a volley. That's cool. She actually added a lot in there. This is some fun games. I like that both players were testing new things, trying new things out. This is the last replay I got, by the way, guys. So it does end up tied 2-2. And I think this is, I'm so happy we got to see a Zerg player finally. I've been hunting for these Zerg replays. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm not really drawing any stiff conclusions from these games. I just think, you know, cool to see the players experimenting. We'll keep an eye on it as time goes on. And once again, I'm impressed that the Spore Crawlers, Spore Crawler Hydra Corruptor push kind of worked on El Dorado. That was so impressive. But hats off to both players playing really good games. I love the drop and Nidus usage, especially to take advantage of like the spread out base locations and really punish Showtime for how spread out he had to be. I think Elazer did a really good job of using mobility and positioning in this series. And but you know, if he had a little bit more gas and maybe, I don't know, swapped into some Corruptors or something, I do think he could have taken down Showtime in this game as well. But great comeback for Showtime. GG, well played.